What if the US economy collapses tomorrow? While the thought may seem extreme, financial experts and economic indicators suggest that certain states are far more vulnerable than others. In this video, we are diving deep into 10 US states that would be the first to collapse if an economic crisis hits the country. From skyrocketing debt to failing industries, poor infrastructure to unstable tax revenues, these states are already standing on shaky ground. So buckle up, because your state might be on this list. Number 10, Illinois. Illinois is often referred to as the pension crisis capital of the United States, and that's not an exaggeration. The state is drowning in over $200 billion in unfunded pension liabilities, making it nearly impossible to maintain its financial obligations without drastic measures. Year after year, Illinois struggles to pay its public employees, teachers, firefighters, police without dipping deeper into debt. The result? Sky-high property taxes, which are among the highest in the country. Many homeowners are being taxed out of their homes, and businesses are relocating to neighboring states like Indiana or Wisconsin for relief. The economic stress isn't just on paper, it's visible. Chicago, the beating heart of Illinois, is grappling with a ballooning crime rate, record-breaking outmigration, and underfunded public schools. Add to that an aging infrastructure and a declining manufacturing sector, and it becomes clear Illinois is a ticking time bomb. If the U.S. economy were to experience a major crash, Illinois's fragile financial ecosystem could collapse almost overnight, leading to cuts in public services, mass layoffs, and further economic migration. Number 9, New Jersey. On the surface, New Jersey looks like a wealthy state, beautiful suburban towns, Ivy League feeder schools, and proximity to both New York City and Philadelphia. But beneath that shiny exterior lies a serious economic problem. New Jersey has one of the highest debt burdens per capita in the country and owes tens of billions in pension obligations. Even with a strong economy, the state can barely manage its budget. Now imagine what would happen in a downturn. Property taxes in New Jersey are notoriously high, so much so that middle-class families are leaving in droves, seeking affordability in Pennsylvania or the Carolinas. This exodus is slowly eroding the state's tax base, leaving fewer people to shoulder the burden. And while some towns remain rich, others are economically stagnant. Urban centers like Newark and Camden face high crime rates, underperforming schools, and limited job opportunities. A nationwide economic collapse would be the final blow for New Jersey, possibly pushing it into a financial emergency state similar to what we saw in Detroit years ago. Number 8, California. Yes, California, the world's fifth largest economy, is on this list. And here's why. The Golden State generates immense wealth through its tech sector, agriculture, and entertainment industry, but it also spends extravagantly. California has massive liabilities, including a homelessness crisis, strained power grids, and underfunded public services. San Francisco and Los Angeles are grappling with tent cities, growing mental health emergencies, and soaring crime rates in certain areas. What makes California so vulnerable is its dependence on wealthy individuals and capital gains taxes. When the stock market dips, California's tax revenue takes a massive hit, leading to budget deficits and spending cuts. In 2023, California already faced a $30 billion shortfall, despite being one of the richest states. Add to that wildfires, droughts, and high energy costs, and you've got a state walking a tightrope. In a national economic collapse, the ripple effects could be brutal, not just for the poor, but even for the middle class, who are already fleeing the state in record numbers due to high living costs. Number 7, Kentucky. Kentucky is one of the states with a deep structural economic vulnerability. While it's known for bourbon, horse racing, and bluegrass music, the backbone of its economy has historically been coal mining and manufacturing, both of which have seen sharp declines due to globalization, automation, and clean energy policies. As these industries shrink, many small towns have been left behind, with crumbling infrastructure and closed-down factories. The state also has one of the lowest educational attainment levels in the U.S., with fewer than 30% of adults holding a college degree. This limits economic mobility and attracts fewer high-paying industries. Kentucky's pension crisis, similar to Illinois, is eating into its state budget. Healthcare costs are rising, especially in rural areas, where hospitals are shutting down due to low revenue and staff shortages. If a nationwide financial crash happens, Kentucky may not have the diverse economic base or emergency resources to survive the storm. Number 6. Mississippi. Mississippi has long been ranked last or near last in nearly every major category: healthcare, education, infrastructure, and income. Its GDP per capita is among the lowest, and many of its residents live in deep, generational poverty. The state is also heavily dependent on federal funding, with nearly 40% of its state budget coming from Washington. If federal funds are reduced during a national collapse, Mississippi would face immediate and severe consequences. Public services are already stretched thin, schools are underfunded, many hospitals in rural areas operate on the brink of closure, and job opportunities are limited. In a financial collapse, the already fragile economy could come to a standstill. With rising unemployment, business closures, and possibly civil unrest, with no strong safety net and limited economic diversification, Mississippi could become ground zero for a new wave of domestic migration and social crisis. Number 5. Louisiana. Louisiana's economy has always been shaped by its geography, and unfortunately, that's part of the problem. Constantly battered by hurricanes, flooding, and coastal erosion, Louisiana faces the enormous cost of rebuilding year after year. In addition, the state's economy is heavily tied to oil and gas, making it vulnerable to energy market swings. A sudden drop in oil prices can throw the state into a recession, and that's without a full-blown economic collapse. Corruption has also been a long-standing issue in Louisiana's political system, leading to wasteful spending and broken public trust. The education system ranks poorly, and New Orleans' housing crisis continues to worsen. If the national economy crashes, Louisiana would be hit from all sides: natural disasters, crumbling infrastructure, job losses in the energy sector, and rising poverty. Recovery in such a scenario would be painfully slow, if it happens at all. Number 4. West Virginia. West Virginia was once a proud center of the American coal industry, but those days are long gone. With the decline of coal and a lack of new industries stepping in, the state's economy has been shrinking for years. West Virginia now has one of the lowest workforce participation rates, one of the oldest populations, and a devastating opioid addiction crisis. Many towns across the state are half empty, with boarded-up homes and abandoned businesses. Healthcare access is limited in rural areas, and infrastructure is outdated. The state has also been losing its younger population to outmigration. Those with skills and degrees are leaving for better opportunities elsewhere. If the national economy collapses, West Virginia may not have the resources or the human capital to adapt, rebuild, or even maintain basic services. Number 3. Alaska. Alaska might surprise some people on this list, but it's actually one of the most financially vulnerable states in the country. The state's budget is heavily reliant on oil royalties, and any fluctuation in global oil prices hits Alaska's revenues hard. In fact, Alaska has had to tap into emergency funds multiple times over the past decade just to meet basic expenses. What makes matters worse is Alaska's geographic isolation. With a small and dispersed population, transportation costs are high, and basic goods are expensive. Economic diversification is minimal. Apart from oil, fishing, and tourism, there aren't many robust industries. Public services like healthcare and education are largely subsidized by the federal government, meaning a national collapse would lead to severe budget shortfalls and potential service shutdowns. Number 2. New Mexico. New Mexico is rich in culture and natural beauty, but economically, it faces serious challenges. It has some of the highest poverty rates and lowest high school graduation rates in the U.S. The job market is weak, especially in rural areas, and public services are stretched to the limit. New Mexico relies heavily on federal spending, including military and government jobs, sectors that could be hit hard during a financial downturn. The state also suffers from rising crime, particularly in Albuquerque, and aging infrastructure that hasn't seen major investment in years. While oil production in the Permian Basin brings in revenue, It's volatile and subject to boom-bust cycles. If a national crash happens, New Mexico might find itself without the resources, workforce, or tax base to survive the fallout. Number 1. Puerto Rico. Though technically a U.S. territory and not a state, Puerto Rico's collapse has already begun. The island was forced to declare a form of bankruptcy in 2017, with over $70 billion in public debt. Since then, it has been rocked by hurricanes, earthquakes, and political turmoil. Its population is shrinking as residents flee to the mainland in search of better opportunities. Public services, from electricity to healthcare to education, are crumbling. The government struggles to maintain basic infrastructure, and corruption scandals are frequent. Many schools and hospitals remain in disrepair, and the power grid is notoriously unreliable. If the U.S. economy collapses, Puerto Rico could descend into a full-scale humanitarian crisis. With mass migration, widespread unemployment, and social unrest, it would likely be the first U.S. territory to face complete economic devastation in such a scenario. So, what do these 10 states have in common? Most are struggling with high debt, aging infrastructure, reliance on unstable industries, and shrinking populations. These factors make them the most likely to collapse first if the U.S. economy crashes. But this isn't just about numbers. It's about people, families, workers, and communities. Economic collapse doesn't hit like a storm, it builds slowly, then crashes all at once, which is why it's important to stay informed, plan ahead, and protect your future. If your state was on the list, what do you think about its financial situation? And if it wasn't, do you think it should have been? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, Discover with Vivek, and share this video to help others stay prepared in uncertain times.